Welcome back to the Reptiles With Podcast. Today, there is a BOA movie that we got to talk about. Also, as we're recording this, two things have happened today. TikTok got banned, and TikTok got unbanned.
Yeah!
Hell yeah, dude.
Miracle.
But before we get started, hit like, hit subscribe, share with your reptile-loving friends. Let's talk about this movie, okay?
Yeah, okay. I'm going to be honest. You
Yeah.
need to lead this one because I'm going to be all over the place.
Okay.
So
So,
lead. Where do you want to start?
okay.
At the
Dave
beginning.
Kaufman.
All right. So, I guess let's do initial feelings about what we, how we felt about the movie. I didn't know that this was gonna happen. I didn't know, when the ball python one came out, like that was just like the talk of the town.
Yeah.
Because that one had a direction. That one was like, we're gonna see what ball pythons are actually doing in the wild. Are racks good? Are racks bad? It kind of had like a theme. Okay. With this one, I was more like, oh shit, there's a BOA movie. And personally, I do like these style of videos that Dave usually does. Mm-hmm. Right? I remember one of the first ones that I saw was like the Aki one, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. We keep these things in captivity. Are we keeping them right? He's the one that's going out there. Not a lot of people are doing that for content. So I was like, all right, cool. I fuck with it. Initially, I saw the length, and I was like, okay, so this is a movie. And I was expecting pacing like the ball python movie. Nope. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little bit of a difficult watch.
Really?
Yeah. I had to watch it in double speed.
Well, okay. It was too slow?
Yeah.
Too slow to what?
It just I didn't feel like it had direction like the ball python movie. Because the ball python movie, it felt like a documentary. It felt like we're on a mission, we're going to this, then point A led to point B led to point C.
I feel like this one did too, though.
You think
This
so?
one wasn't as rushed, though, I think.
Yeah, it was going from different BOA to a different place to like. I feel like it had the points. It went from Central American BOA to the true reptiles to the Hog Island. I feel like it had direction in that aspect.
In that aspect, yeah. It just, for some reason, I mean, because I know that you've shared the similar sentiment that it was just a little bit difficult for you to watch too.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's more so like my attention span just sucks. And
Maybe
I
it's
kind of
also-
already had an
yeah.
idea of what it was going to be about and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I just it was just droning through it.
Maybe
So.
they should have banned TikTok. Maybe that's what's
No, I do think that might be
Yeah.
it. Because I honestly could watch it. Mind you, I skipped a lot because I was doing other stuff a lot of
Yeah.
times. And I'll be like, okay, I know enough about this. Let me just skip through this part.
That's kind of how I felt, too.
Yeah, like I did do that. And I think the pace was very documentary, like very TV, like very like he went back in time, like for it.
okay.
So I feel like every documentary you actually watch ends up being
Got you.
like that, honestly. Where I think someone, I'm not going to say who, should step up and change that a little bit because it's very outdated.
Got you. So, I mean, that's honestly, I would say, my only critique about the documentary. But I like that style of video. It was reminiscent to like a little bit of a vlog style, where it's like I'm taking you on the day to day, I'm taking you on this, on that. It was cool to see, the variation of the boas. I think it was when he was in closer to the Central American area, where the boa, it was like a dark boa that was like really
Predator?
red. Yeah. And it was just like, dude, like that for me is peak fucking boa. That thing is
Interesting.
awesome.
Most people say it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Dude, I love the red coloration. And then I feel actually the same with the Hog Island boa. The Hog Island boa is fucking dope. One of my first notes on it is just that, like, the size of these boas is crazy. They're tiny.
It's island, man.
Yeah.
It's not much
That's
to
how
eat.
islands work.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
cool
yeah.
to see.
Now, when it came to the Hog Island boa, the subject for that was, did we make them disappear with the, exportation of them? How do you guys feel about how that was handled?
I think that he definitely shed some light on the collection, but I feel like same thing with the ball python video. The way he goes about those problems, like, did it happen in the past? Yes, but it's not as bad as everybody thinks it is. And because of that, I'm like, I feel like there's more.
Yeah, there's way more.
But
there's
like,
way more. I feel
he's
like
never gonna say more.
Exactly. I feel like he's way too biased when it comes to these topics. Because when he's at the zoo talking about the Hog Island boa, and he's talking about like, when they came in, the importation, and the guys telling them like, they were bringing them in by the hundreds. So like the island got fucked at that time. Like that stopped. Yeah. And once that stops, like nobody's saying like the boa just went extinct. Nobody's saying the boa was endangered. What the guy is saying is the boas were being taken by the hundreds. That had to stop legally. Yeah. So now you go and you find 7 of them. Does not mean that back then wasn't true.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, you're biased. You're just trying to make it look like it's not that big of a deal when it is.
But I think that he did say that in the video. I think that the intention was like, there was damage that was done. Did it get fixed? Or did the stopping
that's
of
the
it
part I think he left out. Though.
Yeah. I feel like I don't feel he went into that aspect. He's like, oh, they're here. Look at that. I found 7 of them. We didn't even walk that much.
Yeah. You know what that means, right?
What?
We got to get new blood, guys.
Yeah,
let's go do it.
Oh, we're getting into that. Dude. We're getting into that very soon.
No, that's the end of the video. That's
We're going to get into that very soon.
Let me see real quick the notes. Something that 2 things on the Hog Island boas. There was an aspect of like the color changing. Yeah. How did you guys feel about that?
I don't know that they specifically do it, but I do know that other animals do it. Like my boa, the Puerto Rican, does that all the time.
Yeah, there's tons of animals that do it. Brazilian rainbow boas do it. Like,
do you think that we don't see that in captivity because we don't supply UV and stuff like that?
Maybe and kind of.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, maybe and kind of. Just because like my Brazilian rainbow boa does it. At night, it's a different color than it is during the day. Like they do color changes. There's a few other snakes that do it, but I don't know if it's UVB or not.
I do think people don't realize that they do that.
Okay.
Yeah. And sometimes they freak out when things change the color and everything.
Yeah.
They don't always realize, which I thought was. I think it's cool.
And now the next note that I had there was arboreal. They were all on fucking trees.
Not racks. But he won't put that out. Yeah. He won't say that part. That like a lot of those animals were found on trees. Yeah. And we keep them in racks. Yeah. You know, like, and then people have these boas on racks. They're like, oh, this is great. The animal breeds and eats. It's fine. But let's not talk about the fact that a lot of those boas were found on tree branches and shit. Like,
yeah.
Mind you, not the large ones, but even the large ones are found a lot of the times on trees.
I really do think captivity underplays what these animals are doing in the wild.
Yeah. And it's sad because it's all for the benefit of us. It's all it is.
It has nothing to do with the animal.
It has nothing. It's not to benefit the animal. We can say it is. Verbally, everybody wants to benefit the animal. Verbally. Once it comes to action, not really. It doesn't show, really.
That's like when everybody says, we're doing this for conservation. I mean, it's a nice thing to say, but are we really?
Yeah. Which it's not the fucking case. God fucking damn it.
What else do I got here? So if I'm going too fast, let me know.
Keep going.
Yeah. Again, the Central American stuff was real cool for me.
I found those on trees too.
Exactly. So that's what I was gonna bring up. You know, how was it you seeing them when you got to see them when you went to Mexico?
So I found them all on trees. The only times I did not find them in trees, they were crossing roads. But yeah, it was really cool. We were just walking down this trail, and when we looked to the left at night, my friend shined it. He was like, boa, boa, boa. And we ran up. We had to climb a little bit to go get it. But all of those boas were on trees.
That's what they do.
Like, yeah, it's a light boa. It's also like, it's very simple. The boa, it's a whole different shape than the pythons for a reason. It has the same shape of a rat snake, just a lot larger. Instead of round, they're almost like square. That's an arboreal.
They have like a curve on their belly.
Yeah, that's an arboreal body shape. Like, that is an arboreal body shape. I'm sorry. If you want to keep them in racks, that's on you. But that animal is arboreal. Semi-arboreal for the really, really large ones? Absolutely, I'll go with that. But Central Americans, to be specific, arboreal. There was not a time that I've seen them not on a tree, and when they're not, they're literally just traveling across the road.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times they travel through the trees.
That was crazy. I just went through puberty. What the?
I was gonna ignore it, but whatever.
Crazy. So when he got to Hog Island, I have a little still frame popped up. He found one with freckles. When I saw this animal, the first thing I thought was like, new morph. We got to bring it in.
Have freckles though?
You don't think he tried
What?
to just poach shit and bring it back?
I don't know.
I don't think you can.
I never
Hog
leave
Island.
it out of the equation.
Maybe not Hog Island, but in his whole trip.
Wasn't that something that happened with the ball python thing with the savannah monitors? Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's why he's biased.
I always get the vibe that like something is not being said or something.
Yeah, but at the end,
But-
we'll get there when we get there. At the end, he does say that he buys some to release them.
That's
We
the
saw
contradiction. That's the contradiction.
Yeah.
That's the contradiction there.
Yeah.
But we'll get to it.
I actually have a note for
Which,
you.
by the way, if he ever watches this or somebody sends it to him, I think the movie itself is great. I just don't think like the way it comes across is very.
I get more so the way it comes across for our side of the picture.
Yeah.
like the captive keeping of it.
No, like the
audience
Petroid,
side,
the Petroid is
stuff,
gonna love it.
This is perfect. This
The
is exactly
Petroid's
what
gonna
they
love
want.
it. But all the biologists, like a lot of people that are like more into the ecosystem side of it, are watching this and going like, "That's."
We just have a much
That's kinda
bigger
weird.
jar of salt whenever we have to watch these.
Yeah.
because it could be. It'll if
If you're in the Petroid and all you do is breed ball pythons in a rack, you watch this and you're like, "This is very cool. Like this
Gotcha.
is a very good thing." You don't see the two sides.
yeah.
When you say that, our audience here looked at me.
Oh, I know. I know. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
if all you do is keep things in racks and all you say, my pet is so cute, or all you do is like make morphs and sell, you watch this and you're like, oh my God, this is so cool. Which it is, but you don't see the other side of it. And he kind of mentions it, but then he kind of makes it a not so bad thing.
Yeah, it's like for the keeper side of things, it gives you like a breath of fresh air. It's like, okay, cool, I'm doing it right.
Yeah.
That's kind of what the videos tend
Yeah.
to tie into.
Got you.
Yeah, I don't think it shows much of the ecology or conservation of the animal.
Got you. Your note. You had a
Yeah.
note.
So speaking of the kind of like letting keepers kind of have like their gasp of relief.
Yeah.
He was talking about how I think it was in Colombia. He was looking at the
Humidity.
temperature and humidity
Yeah.
of the ground, right? And the humidity was 90+%, and the ground was like mid 70s.
But that was nighttime drops.
That was nighttime drop.
Yeah.
But that reminded me of how like animals take so much more temperature gradient and humidity gradient
Yeah.
than what we give them in captivity.
Yep.
Yeah.
And something that I thought about too, because it used to happen at my old job, is that people would see videos like that. They would completely change the way that they do
Yep.
their climate control, basically, and the animal gets sick and can die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, yes, it's cool to know what they're doing in the wild. Maybe if you're trying to get a wild caught animal used to things, yeah, sure, do that kind of thing.
I
But
don't
if you're
even
working,
think that. Yeah, continue. Yeah.
but if you're working with an animal that's been here already and is kind of in a captive setting, they're not given that same type of climate control. And I don't think you
Yeah.
necessarily have to mimic that because
Yeah.
that animal's not going to
And-
be able to get used to that.
I'll say
At least off the bat.
with that specifically, I mean, you would have to be super careful with the humidity because that's you're gonna just create a box of stagnant, moist air, and that's all kinds of fungal issues.
Yep.
So there's obviously the concern of like, yeah, it might be 90+% humidity over there, but that air is moving around and
Exactly.
going to different organisms. Organisms are letting things out. If you did that in your 4x2 PVC enclosure, your animal's gonna
Yeah.
get sick fast as
Yeah.
fuck. You know?
And that's
Yeah,
the part that people always like have problems with because I talk and I deal with a lot of people who are kind of new to the thing. And,
Yeah.
I give them at least what I would do. And people don't always realize that humidity should not stay at the same level. If it's staying at the same level, that
Kind of a
animal's just
problem.
not going to go through the phases it has to go
Yeah.
through, and it's not going to be able to live in other types of
Yeah,
scenarios.
yeah.
Yeah, it's also like it's a good thing to have.
Sorry, this thing just keeps going down. Well after this episode, I'll fix
Okay.
it. Yeah.
So I think like one thing, like I think it's a really good thing to get that data, but it's also important to tell people like what the data even means.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people might see that as a science experiment or something like that when it's not. To have a science experiment and have something that actually makes sense, you need multiple variables.
Yeah.
You need to be doing it multiple times, and seasons change. What about dry season? What is it like in dry season? What is it like during the humid season? When were you there getting those numbers? You know, like those things are very, very important because in the wild, things are not just 90%, 70%. Like things are going to change dramatically. The air is going to be drier or more humid, and like a lot of things happen. So whenever people see those numbers, they're like, oh, so those are the numbers.
It's too surface level to actually understand.
He went once and got the temperatures and all that stuff once, which is great.
Yeah.
Is great. You just have to know how to deal with that information.
So this is the way that I deal with it, right? So for me, that allows me a reality of what the animal can handle, and I know how to manipulate my environment if something occurs. For example, if temperatures drop here and all of my racks go bad, I know that now I have a realm of variables and time that I can have an animal in a little bit of a colder temperature. And the same way, if it gets super hot, if my AC goes and I need to turn off racks, I know the reality of like, well, you know what? Like, it can get a little bit hot. I got to make sure that I'm monitoring humidity. But specifically, it's variables of when you're keeping things outdoors. So when I looked into the Bredl's pythons, what I did was I looked at averages every month in Alice Springs, right? And then, because my concern was humidity when it's hot and cold/wet, cold and wet times for here. And so what I did is that in those months, I would look at graphs. And I'm like, okay, like, because the month is just the average. It might drop lower, it might drop higher. So then I would look at the averages and I'd be like, okay, so this is my realm of acceptance for these kinds of things. And I might be able to, you know, maybe it can be a little bit colder and a little bit more humid, but I got to make sure that a certain part of the day, it's getting to a safe area. You know, today it rained all day and it was cloudy. And I know that it's going to, because of that, we're going to get a serious temperature drop. If I knew, if there was some time today that there was enough sun where I felt fine that the animals could handle it, I would have left the animals inside. But because of those variables, I knew I'm bringing those animals inside because I don't want them to experience that cold after the weather that they just had. And even with the blue tongues, the same thing. So my blue tongues enclosures are separated in two ways. All right. The part with the door, it's mesh. And then that's where all the, you know, the air can flow there fine. The other side, it is meshed, but I have a, like the greenhouse clear kind of like shutter looking thing. And then I have a UV fabric on top of it. So that way, when those days where it's going to be like that, where I don't want them to be cold and wet, I uncover that side. So that way they're getting sun and they're getting air, but whatever sun is hitting, it's kind of keeping their enclosure hotter than it would if I were to open the other side where more air was going to flow through. And on top of that, they're not going to get wet because that stuff is covered. So being able to have numbers like this allows you to understand the reality of what these animals can handle with... and then during the day when he's talking about those temperatures, I mean, the feel like actual temperature was over 100 degrees. And here in captivity, people are scared to get their boas over 85 degrees.
My God.
You know, and it's just like, dude, like these animals can handle heat, you know?
And they know what to do when they... That's the thing, because in captivity, you just have everything in a box.
Yeah.
The animal can't really choose.
Yeah.
That's the problem we're having.
Yeah.
Because like if you have an enclosure the size of this room right here, it's 100 degrees, but it can just go in a burrow. It's like 80 degrees on there.
When you have 2 feet to work with, it can get dangerous giving them that much.
Exactly. You're just trying... What you're trying to match is not even a habitat anymore.
Yeah.
You're just trying to put them in a perfect scenario.
You're trying to put them in a scenario that benefits you, that'll allow the animal to show decent enough behaviors.
Yeah, that it can eat and breed. That's all you care about at that point.
Breed. It's gonna shit. It's gonna shed. That's what we're monitoring when it comes to these kinds of things in captive care.
Yeah.
That was the smartest conversation we ever fucking had. Fuck yeah, dude.
Graphs, bro.
Sigma, dude.
Fuck yeah.
Let's see. 59. Oh, so I'm going to pull up the 59-minute mark here. This boa, this is when they're in Colombia, that he couldn't find one in the wild. Okay.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
dude, this thing right here to me was fucking crazy.
What?
Specifically, so they find this bitch in a park.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen Dave Kaufman in person. He is
It's all
huge.
Yeah.
Look at the size of that fucking boa.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big fucking
It's
boa,
pregnant,
dude.
though.
Yeah,
It's
still,
still huge, though. It's still
dude.
huge.
It's a big bitch.
Yeah, man. That thing. Imagine that in my hands.
Look at the bamboo on the back too.
Yeah.
That's a big bamboo,
Yeah.
bro. That's a big man, big bamboo,
Yeah, you're
big
right.
boa.
That's crazy. But yeah, that shit was crazy. Finding the boa with that injury or whatever the fuck.
He said something about broken ribs or something.
Yeah,
And,
it had like a
the babies
bulge.
were like kind of like literally just separated by the skin.
Yeah.
That's
I don't
crazy
think.
to
I'm
think
not gonna
about.
lie. I don't think they're surviving.
Apparently they did,
Yeah, supposedly he said
Yeah.
they did at the end.
which I believe because I mean
Spoiler alert!
My bad.
they tend to figure it out.
Yeah.
Especially the wild ones. So at least I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope people watch that movie before watching this because there's spoilers. In
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna lie. If I title this thing "Boa Movie Review" and you just click this,
That is true.
That's their own fault.
That's
We
your
could
fucking
spoil
fault,
it more.
dude.
I mean, I thought the spoiler that I wanted to say is pretty sick, but
What?
it's more towards the end.
Dave Kaufman fell off a boat. They can't find him.
oh shit. So yeah, the freckle boa was cool. I saw that and I was like, oh shit, fucking new morph. We talked about humidity. Oh, what I was gonna search. I'm not gonna name you. Can you do me a favor? Can you go on Mike B's Facebook and look for the albino Suriname? If you can find it.
because he mentioned.
If not, I'll pop it up. Wait, I'll put it up in a photo. But he does mention that there's never been an albino
Supposedly.
red tail,
Like a true red
like a
tail?
true red tail found in the wild. But there has been. There was albino Surinames.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Were they not? This was a long time ago. He posted as like a memory.
Yeah, for real. This guy has to go all the way back.
But that's what I'm saying because he'll post it every year as a memory. When you have the photo. All right. Well, I'll put it up if you could send it to me. That'd be amazing.
So they were found in the wild.
I mean, they were imported, so I would imagine that they're from the wild. Were they not from the wild? Am I just talking shit?
Came out like a pregnant like female.
Oh,
But in captivity.
a wild caught female came out and it gave birth to it.
Oh, a wild caught female and the babies came out. It still counts.
Yeah.
At least these.
All right. Well, albino true red tails exist. It's true.
Albino anaconda.
An albino anaconda too. That's news to me.
Damn, dude.
Fuck, dude.
There's
Get out of
albino
your
shit,
rack,
bro.
dude.
Dude, that's crazy. Oh, okay. Other note that I have here. 1275. Who knows what 1275 is? You know what 1275 is. That's how much a boa costs.
Oh,
Oh!
I thought you talked about the minutes.
Me
bro.
too.
No,
me too.
no.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
No.
1275 is crazy.
That is crazy,
Yeah.
bro.
You
And
think
then
the
you bring them
bo-
over here, you make a few $100s, and it's like, nah, we're sending money to these people so they can eat. Shut the fuck
Bro.
up, bro.
Do you think that
that's
the,
how much
the price
they-
is gonna drop?
No, dude.
How much the boa sell for?
That's how much the
Like
guy
the poachers
bought.
sell it for.
Yeah. He bought a boa for $12.75.
They're the middlemen, though. They sell it to the people that import.
Yeah.
I also thought it was funny
Because
how
Sam's
the
just like,
guy,
I need to know his fucking information.
the guy in the video had to reiterate multiple
You want to
times.
timestamp that for me? Yeah. Oh shit.
The
dude.
guy in the video, the one who caught the boa, or at least brought it for them, I don't know why though. I wanted to ask you guys if you guys remember. He reiterated like twice that he only got the boa to show them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was
No, he said it was because like they don't sell for much or something, as much as other ones or some shit like that. I don't remember exactly what he said.
again, it just sounded fishy.
But yeah, $12.
Uh-huh.
And then during the documentary, he's like, these people do it for a living. They have to feed their.
Well, the
their
cost of
kids.
living there is $100 a month, dude. $12.75 is crazy.
No, it's not.
I'm
When he has to
kidding,
keep
bro.
going, dude. It's like, nah, dude, we're helping these people. Yo, I'll give you 6 right now.
Oh my god.
I'll buy them in bulk.
Yeah.
$3. Like, come on,
So,
dude. Come on.
That was the end of my notes. Can you pull up the reel? Just have it on deck. That was the end of my notes for the most part. Any other thoughts of this movie before we
Yeah,
get into the
what the
Yes.
freak?
Wait, no. Any other before we get into like the import export side of it?
Oh, I was about to say, I'm like, what the fuck are you on right now?
No. I'm saying those were my notes on it.
You didn't even take notes at the end? You suck. Okay,
No. Well, the next note has to do with that part.
Okay. Let's get into that.
Okay, go ahead.
That's what I'm excited about.
All right. So I don't remember. This is the thing. I wish I had the timestamp. There was the first time that he spoke about the import and export of it. He kind of seemed the same way that we talk about it with the ball python thing. It's just like, well, we're breeding them so much in captivity now that and because of that, we don't have to take so many from the wild. But then also at a certain point, he buys some boas and he says they should be in the wild. So I'm like, dude, I get it. I fucking get it. But which fucking is it? Like, what is the message here? You know, because on one hand, dude, I get the breeder's need for new blood. Okay.
I don't.
I mean, I will say I get it. Not that I'm condoning.
Let me say why I don't. If you actually cared for genetics, if you actually cared for a clean gene pool, you would keep track of genetics in the gene pool. So, that doesn't happen. Okay. Therefore, you're all lying.
Yeah.
You don't even know how to begin to do that.
And but this is the thing that I'm trying to that I juggle with, because I'm like, is it just that we have bad practice that needs to be learned, 100%. Or do people not care actually?
It's
both.
So then that's the problem.
We have less animals of other species outside of reptiles, mammals, where genetics matter even more. Mm-hmm. And we're able to track genetics and bring them all the way back and reintroduce some of these animals back into the wild. But the pet trade has thousands of these animals and can't do the same because, one, they don't know how, and two, they don't care. They want to do the morph. Yeah. They want to make the money quick.
Yeah. I think that there is a modern
reptile
nice. There's a modern change to that, because with all of the like husbandry apps that have been coming out, I know a lot of people are keeping a lot of records on their ball pythons. Mm-hmm. Honestly, they don't care so much about the bloodline of it more than it is that they're worrying about, I need to see what hets or whatever might be potential in this line or whatever. I know a lot of carpet people do that on that. I mean, there's people that had binders of their blue tongue skinks that can tell you the grandparents, great grandparents, great 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 grandparents, and all of their siblings and how they never got crossed with this and that.
Yeah.
So I think that there is the modern movement with that, but then again, like, which is it? Are we harming? Are we not harming? Do the animals need to belong in the wild?
We all know the answer to that.
Burn the Amazon.
Okay. Hold on. What are you about to show over there? Because I got some notes on that.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say, so when towards the end of the video, the last note that I had when he was just like, these animals belong in the wild, there's not a lot of need for getting, like, because he had mentioned when he had the big Suriname, he was like, well, animals like this don't really come in from the wild anymore. And I was like, well, that is not true, because this was just a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was important? Yeah,
that wasn't important.
I remember that thing.
Yeah. I got to figure out a way to not show where that is, but also show this video.
Yeah. So, that's a big one that came in.
Yeah.
So that was a lie.
Yeah. And that wasn't the only one that came in from that.
No, of course. Yeah. I remember all that.
Yeah.
Okay. This is my note.
Obviously, there's exceptions to things.
My note. He says, there's a controversy between exploration and importation. He said it's a yin and a yang. Like, one needs the other when it doesn't.
Yeah, that I didn't agree with. Yeah,
it doesn't. Like, it's a importation affects animals negatively, but also we need the blood gene, the bloodline. So, like, no, that's bullshit. The animals poached are put into wooden boxes with little water and no food, admittedly. And you saw the boxes that are kept in, and that somehow, like, gives you the opportunity to send them out on a trip that he himself says takes hours to take, and then make it to the U.S. And how many truly make it? And then once they get here, they go through so much bullshit. A lot of them don't even make it. And then he said, at the end, he said, there's a lot of controversy, but what's the balance? I don't think there's a balance to that, honestly. And I'm not saying importation is wrong. I just think the way imported animals come in is wrong. Mm-hmm. Like, you have these people poaching animals supposedly just around their neighborhood, which is bullshit. If you've ever
says that they're coming from different countries and they just end up leaving from, I think it's Suriname or something.
Yeah.
like that.
An area.
Yeah. So it's like all these people are poaching from different areas, bringing those animals into captivity, into wooden boxes, little bit of water, no food. That's detrimental for the animal. And then they get sent out to the U.S. and other countries, and then we keep them for our own entertainment. That is not beneficial to the animal. It's just not. And there's enough fucking boas as it is. Like, there's a huge market for them shits as it is, that people have morphs and people have from different localities already. I don't think much of that is needed. Into what he was saying, like, oh, we make the market. If we bring more in captivity, they'll poach less. That's bullshit. We have so many, and they still come in.
Yeah.
Same thing with the ball pythons.
That's a problem that should have been answered years ago.
Yeah, they're not breeding boas to the numbers that they are ball pythons, but we still do have a lot of them.
There's enough of them.
You know, I mean, and this is the thing where it's just like, because we could objectively say that we put. You know, in essence, we put the animals through something traumatic to get here.
Yeah.
So we can objectively say that sucks and that's not good.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, mind you, which is why, like, okay, if you're going to buy an imported animal, like, okay, but understand the responsibility of that. Yep. Those, in my opinion, those animals are not pets. Those animals, if they're going to come here, you might as well breed those animals to try to strip the need of us taking them from the wild at that point. But
that doesn't even work.
But
it doesn't work.
It doesn't happen enough. And I'm not to the extent.
There's a thing. Because I've even bought like imported animals myself. It is what it is. They're already here. But that's the thing. That's when I think regulations should be stricter on them.
But you are an influencer, Chuck. You deserve special treatment.
No, absolutely. No, you know what I mean? Like,
I get you.
People are going to do it regardless without any restrictions, which is what everybody wants to fight. But the reality is a lot of animals are not only affected by habitat destruction, they're also being affected by the pet trade. Whenever you look into these animals and you see, what's causing their decrease in the wild? It's always the same thing. Habitat destruction and the pet trade. So how can we be doing any good? The good out of that, the yin and the yang, is us bringing animals into captivity so we can have good blood. How is that good for the habitat?
Yeah. No, that's the thing.
You're taking a food source from another animal, probably like a hawk or whatever, and then you're also taking a predator from that area. So how are you benefiting that area by poaching those animals?
Yeah.
The only benefit is on the people's side.
Yeah, it's on the people's side.
Really anything
and to say like, the people need to make money, you're paying $12 to if you really wanted to help people, you would actually go and help people.
I think that like if you could understand it's coming from the negativity and try to figure out a way to actually make it positive, all power to you. But for it to just be a blanket statement like, damn, dude, yin and yang, like there's good and there's bad, we need genetic diversity for the captive collections. It's just like, dude, but like, come on.
It's excuses to make people feel better about what they're doing.
Yeah, and exactly.
Mind you, this is not an attack on Dave.
Yeah, no.
This is just a conversation on the topic.
The movie, again, I think is a great thing, and the things that he does for those movies and show people the habitats. I think all of that is great. I just think that mindset there is the mindset of the entire industry for the most part, that I'm like, that is wrong. Like, most biologists look at that and go, that is wrong right there. Like, that's wrong. You don't do that, because now the biologists in those areas, guess what? What are they writing about? The poachers. We don't like the poachers. The poachers got to go. What's affecting them?
One of the guys in the videos ended up being an actual poacher.
Yeah.
So, a surprise poacher.
And in the other documentary, too.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
There's going to be a part 2.
To talk about that one.
Yeah, no, we could talk about that.
In the other one.
No, what do you mean?
And are we talking?
I'm talking about
both in this episode. Or
no. I'm talking about that. There's going to be a part 2 to the BOA thing.
No. He's talking about the earless monitor.
Earless monitor. Okay.
Yeah, there's something there.
Yeah, well, that's a future one.
But on the part 2 of the BOA thing,
yeah,
I am pretty excited for that, because he said he was going to the Caribbean. So
the Sonora boas.
Okay. The part with that.
Which the part with
once he got me to once he mentions the Caribbean, I said, let me look into more shit that he's done. When he went to Puerto Rico and got the retics and started talking about the iguanas and how they got there, as if he knew exactly how that happened. Bullshit. I did not like that.
No one on his side of Reptidum is going to admit.
Reptidum.
No, Reptidum. That's crazy.
Reptidum is
Yeah,
hilarious.
it's the kingdom.
Yeah,
of
no,
reptile, I don't know.
he's literally like, oh yeah, the iguanas came here through the pet trade. I'm like, how sure are you, dude? Or is it just somebody
Well,
told
he's
you
not
and you
short,
repeated
dude.
it? No,
He's tall as fuck. Actually,
How sure are you, bro? Like, I don't know, bro. They had them at the malls.
Yeah.
At the malls that had green iguanas for sale.
You know
$10,
what?
and I got them.
You sent me. That's so funny.
I did.
You sent me. You sent us a video of somewhere in China, was it, or Taiwan?
Taiwan.
Yeah, Taiwan.
Yes.
Yeah. So when I was watching that, I thought to myself of the red ears that they would sell in the malls in Miami,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh my god, iguanas are just the red-eared sliders.
It is because how the fuck is the green iguana the number one pet lizard back in the day, and it's found invasive everywhere? How many times have you heard, oh, they swam across the fucking sea, or like they came through plants? Motherfucker, how did they make it to Taiwan?
The plants.
Like, how did they make it to Taiwan?
That's a really long branch, dude.
Yeah, that's a big ass branch, bro.
Yeah.
Like, how the
Yeah.
fuck? Like, it doesn't make sense. That pisses me off when people say statements like that. And it's like, that doesn't make sense. Look at all the things that contradict what you just said just because you heard it from somebody else. I don't know. I just think I'm smart. I just think I'm smart. And I know you're going to comment and talk shit about me. And I'm smart. Look into it.
Yeah, you should look into it.
Yeah.
You should also look into becoming a member and checking out the Reptiles with Coffee and the merch. It's the best way to support the podcast and all that jazz. Also, check out Coco to Go. All the information is in the description. To continue with the BOA documentary. I'm doing my best, all right?
No, that was smooth.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Hell yeah. Rock and roll. Do we have any other thoughts on this BOA thing?
No, I thought it was right out of the Dave Kaufman playbook. Was it cool? Yes, I think it is very, very cool what he's doing.
100%.
But for me, and I'm sure you guys too, knowing what we know and being on the side of like reptile stuff that we are, it's kind of like you can't watch that without feeling like, you know, something's not being told or some things are obviously given some bias, and you can just tell that the bigger picture is not always told. When usually when documentaries come out, that's the point.
Just know, I know this guy making one right now.
Why can't you talk about that?
I just need to go through some things first.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you going
It's a
through?
prank.
Well,
It's a prank.
I don't want nobody to steal.
Oh, your
Ideas.
ideas.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I on when we talk about the earless monitors, I would like to just talk about just documentaries in general.
All right.
All right, but we'll get that when we're talking about it.
Okay.
So yeah, dude, no, I'm cool with it. I'm excited for part 2. Because he had said boas and there was other animals that he had
The
mentioned.
Caribbean stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, he said he was going to check out the bows in the Sonoran and Argentina,
Yeah.
and then he said he was going to go to do the Caribbean ones.
Yeah.
So.
I would say this niche for his channel, this specific
perfect.
thing is awesome. I don't know another person that could probably deliver it the way that he does. He has great accessibility to these things. He clearly understands how to do the research. He clearly has the contacts, and he has the time to do it. Not only that, but just the knowledge from being in this for so long. So I hope that I see more of these kinds of videos. I do like that it is documentary style or movie style. So I hope more of these kinds of videos that he does are not so much like 12-minute, 20-minute videos, like hour and a half, make it a movie. Again, it's just for the only critique that I had was that the ball python one had a specific thing that it was talking about. And this one was just like, oh, these are boas in the wild. You know, so it was kind of like closer to what the Aki monitor video was, and just really, really, really long.
It was very surface level, but, you know, hopefully with part 2.
I
Maybe,
felt
would
like it
hope.
had direction, honestly, because there's so many boas and everybody has a problem telling them apart, and he just went through every location.
I guess, yeah, he kind of explained
not
it
every-
a little bit.
Well, he's not done.
That is true.
This isn't a fucking Marvel movie, dude. Not everything needs a part 2.
Yeah, it might be, dude. I
No.
think it had direction. I don't know about y'all. I liked the direction of it.
Yeah.
He just went down the line from Central American boas down to like that
Yeah.
fucking island boas, fucking Suriname. Like,
Oh, you know what is a comment that I had? And not trying to attack anybody's character, but I don't like going to a place and kind of like poo-pooing on how they live.
Yeah.
Was he doing that?
I know that it was a little bit of that in the ball python one. This one was less of that. But it was like showing where these people live and like, these people don't have much, and it's just like, yeah, but
The
they have
undertones are there.
Yeah, it's a little bit of the undertone. It's like they have what they have, and it's just like things are different culturally. Like when I went to where my dad was in Nicaragua, the neighborhood that my dad grew up in, I didn't go around and like feel some type of way about these people. Like everybody had a smile on their face. Mm-hmm. Everybody was doing their thing. You know, it's just like, yeah, maybe it's less than what we have here, but it's just a different fucking place. Like this is their normal. Like I would be just my personal preference on that. I would probably, you know,
I think it just made him feel better about buying that BOA.
Yeah, for 12 fucking bucks.
$12.75, dude. I
just
can't even eat at McDonald's
for 6 months with that $12.
That's crazy. You just did what I said not to do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what he was thinking.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, dude. We got anything else on this fucking on the BOA stuff?
That's pretty much it. Watch it, people.
Yeah. Definitely do that. Oh, you know what I will say? Has anybody ever watched any of his other channels? The food one, the whatever, the fishing one, right? He has a food one. He has a fishing one. I think he might have a general travel. I don't know, dude. This guy has a bunch of channels.
That's cool.
Yeah.
He's out there.
Yeah, he is. How much of this one do you think? Because I remember when he did the Emerald Tree Boa one, some of those same characters showed up in this documentary. How much of this do you think that he filmed on like other adventures, or do you think that he like? I'm so curious about the process of how he goes about those things, you know, because two of those characters were also in this. Were they just filmed at the same time, or did he go back with those people?
I'm sure it's all filmed relatively in the same time.
Yeah,
just taking advantage of being out there.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't go out there. I want to though.
We'll talk off camera.
All right. Oh shit. Chuck has all the tea. Chuck always has the tea. But for now, we're gonna. I guess we'll cut this, and then the next episode we'll talk about the. Yeah. So there. Spoiler alert. There's gonna be a part 2 to this one. No, I'm just kidding. But we're gonna talk about another documentary. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, support the boys, become a member, all that jazz. Yeah. This was the Reptiles with Podcast reviewing the Boa Constrictor movie. Professionally. This bitch ass